BeastNet is brought to you by James Safety Services in partnership with OCR Buddy and OCR Strong. Here we discuss all things OCR and fitness related. Welcome to BeastNet.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to BeastNet. This is Lisa from BeastNet Podcast. And tonight we're talking to Julie Wolff. She is the creator of Phoenix Race OCR and so many other things. My gosh, Julie, you are like a mad woman at all the stuff that is going on. Told you, technology right now. Oh my gosh. So how did the race season go this year with Phoenix Race? Let's start with that.
Oh my goodness. It was overwhelmingly wonderful. We had no idea when we kind of jumped in head first how it would go, if we were making a huge mistake or if we were, gonna chase our dreams and go for it and be successful. And while I definitely think there's room for improvement and growth and learning, I would definitely say it was a success for us.
That is so awesome. I know that I was back there in April. That was an amazing race. Had a great time. Hopefully in the next year or so, I can be back there and racing with you guys. And it looks like you are adding like so many other things to your list of what you're doing. What's the next project that's going on top of the Phoenix race?
So we have, aside from the Phoenix race, we've got a couple of triathlons. We're probably going to be hosting a half marathon. On the racing side, then I have a kayaking company where we do kayaking trips and tubing float trips, and that's fun and exciting. A girlfriend and I started that as a way to bring more tourism revenue to our hometown. So we launched late summer, early fall, and we only did 3 weekends, just kind of a test run, but it went great. So we're really looking forward to launching that when it gets warmer here. Goodness, I have the wonderful opportunity to work with a lot of different companies within the OCR industry, and I absolutely love being able to do that. I don't know if you wanted me to go into all that, but
no, that's perfect. So the triathlons, what is that event called for you?
We have two. We have the Queen City Triathlon, and it is actually in Mississippi at the venue where you visited us. And Meridian, Mississippi, and that one's in July. And then we're doing something a little unique this year, where on Saturday we'll have that sprint triathlon, and on Sunday we'll have the OCR at the same course or the same venue. So people can technically double up. That's going to take like one heck of an athlete, but people do crazy things. And then in August, we have the Possum Town Triathlon in Columbus, Mississippi.
That is awesome. And I've noticed you guys have kind of expanded with the Phoenix race to all the places you are going. How many different races do you have coming up this year?
We have for the Phoenix brand, we have 7, and we've added some new venues. We just bought a race series out of Ohio, and as a matter of fact, I'm waiting. The city council or the board meeting was tonight for the property where we'll be hosting. So I'm waiting any minute to hear from them on whether our contract went through. But yes, we were thrilled. We purchased the Black Swamp series from Sandy and Troy Anthony. They, have built just a wonderful course up there. They have a great following up there. But they're ready to spend their weekends doing some fun times on the lake and not necessarily doing all that trail maintenance and but hosting races. So it was a great opportunity for us to keep that race alive, to already have an established event there and not to, start from scratch. So we bought that. We're super excited about that event. So we'll be in Ohio in August.
That is so awesome. And what an awesome way to keep an event alive, especially like with the Midwest. There's not a whole lot out there. So keeping that alive is absolutely awesome. And so you said it was August?
Yes,
Or
August 13th will be
awesome.
our event there. And but they have a June, I think it's June 18th, nighttime race. Where
Ooh,
Jason and I are going to go and be a part of that and get to meet all the racers. And, we would love for everybody to come out to that in support of their last event and for us to get to meet all the folks in that area.
that is fantastic. So you got the Black Swamp, you got Phoenix, the kayaking, the triathlon. Anything else in there? And you said a half marathon or a marathon?
It's probably going to be a half marathon in December of next year. We're not big fans of cold weather, so we got to go down south for that. We may announce, the Phoenix Race brand has a lot of different limbs to it, I guess you could say, where we like to, some kind of corny at some point, but I like to theme these events.
Yeah.
And so we have like the Alabama races are the Tuscaloosa Gauntlet, and that is a marine course style event. And then we have Murder Creek Mud Run. It's a muddy mud run that goes in and out of Murder Creek. The Scenic City Mud Run in Chattanooga. That's our bigger flagship event. And, it's been around for years. And when we became a part of the company, and then eventually moved it to a Phoenix race, we wanted to keep the Scenic City Mud Run part of it. Same thing with Black Swamp. That'll be the Phoenix at Black Swamp. We like to keep and that way you get a different medal. You're not showing
Yeah.
up. People are buying season passes for this year, which blows my mind, by the way. The first time somebody asked me about it, I was like, yes, but really?
Yay!
They don't want to run a race 7 times and get the exact same course, the exact same medal, the exact same t-shirt. So that way it gives them some variety. So they've got some really cool looking medals, and we're kind of known for that. I'm a medal whore, so I like to have really pretty good looking shirts, awesome swag.
Yes, I love my swag from Phoenix Race. So I like my swag from Phoenix Race. I have my hat, I have my hoodie, I have my tank top, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I wear my hoodie a lot right now just because it's cold. I hate the winter.
Me too. Well, this is one of our new pieces for this year, but I'm a little bit obsessed with it. So we're doing the bird a lot. We're going with more of the getting away from the word so much and into the bird, because now in OCR I feel like people, they may not know our logo, but they've at least heard of us. So when they see the Phoenix bird, they will associate it with our brand.
That's awesome. And so you're going to have different medals for each race, which is absolutely incredible. I like that there's a variety, like you guys have your brand, but it's, the Mud Creek hosted by Phoenix Race, or however you want to phrase it. I think it's great that you have that. You're keeping certain races alive in their areas that are recognized. But the fact that you have like a season pass and you got to get a different medal at each race, like that to me is just worth it. Like I have, I have a lot of medals from a certain race brand that I love, but they're just the same medal but different colors almost. And like you, I love my swag, I love my medals. I actually had to take most of mine down because my room was becoming just a medal pretty much all the way around, but I kept my favorite ones up, and I know my Phoenix race is one of those, and that is absolutely incredible. And when is your season gonna start for you guys?
Uh, is April 7th, and that is the Tuscaloosa Gauntlet. It is a fundraiser for the Alabama Marine Foundation. So we're very excited about that and hoping that we'll get some ROTC teams out to have a good time on the course too. and kind of show us civilians how it's done.
That is awesome. So do you have like your whole race schedule finalized for all the races, or are you still kind of trying to figure things out with that?
We do. Everything's finalized and on our website at phoenixraceocr.com, with the exception of, and this is just such a brand new situation, but with the exception of we may be near the West Palm Beach area for a December event in Florida.
Ooh, that is
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
That's still very, very new in the stages, but I hate to say that's our final schedule, and then we come up with, a December race.
Yeah.
I will not host where it's cold again in November and December. You can forget it. If it's not coastal and warm climate, I don't want to play.
I totally agree with you on that one. I don't do the cold. I won't. I don't do cold winter races. Like, nope. Nope.
No.
I survived the Seattle Spartan races in April, and those were misery. They were so cold and so rainy. So yeah, I pass. I'm right there with you on that one. Are you guys thinking about like expanding to even more races in the 2023 season, or what is your goal like coming up the next like couple years? Like, what can we kind of possibly expect to see?
Of course, growth is my word for this year. And as we identify, our model is a little bit different. We're not in Nashville or Atlanta or big cities. We are in smaller cities that need the economic impact, that need that boost of revenue for the weekend. And that was a business model and a business decision that I put together when we started Phoenix. Is it the smartest thing? Probably not, because the population's not as dense in those areas, but so it may affect our registration. But at the end of the day, I would rather have a race with 500 people there where, we made a difference in that city than have 1,000 people there and nobody even realized we were hosting there. You go into these little towns like Brewton, Alabama, which is one of my favorite places in the world, and there's under 10,000 people there. Well, you bring 700 people to town, and they notice.
Yes.
They notice. The hotels are sold out, the restaurants are booked and packed, and it makes an impact, and people get to see that city. And with Brewton and Meridian and some of our other cities, once people go and visit, they're like, this is, I might come back here for a non-race weekend or a little, or a racecation. We've all taken those racecations.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, and it's on the way to the beach. It's an hour from the beach. So we identifying those target markets for us moving into 2023 and getting a little bit of a head start on it, yes, we will grow. Right now we're just absolutely loving what we're doing. We don't want to grow too quickly and outgrow what we're capable of doing and lose touch with the racer. My goal at an event is to thank everybody that came. Now, I'm more than positive that I've missed racers, but I don't want to lose that ability to get out there and thank everybody for coming and to be able to touch everything in the process. I design our medals, I design our t-shirts. I at this point probably do more than I actually should. But I want to be able to have a hand in all of it, forever from here on out. And this is, I think, the year that it's probably going to be, we have to have some more staff.
I totally get that.
We want to grow at a good pace to where we're not gangbusters coming out the door, spending a crap ton of money on things and then it not go the way we want it to, or we over market the product and then end up in the negative. So growth is definitely what we're looking for over the next 5 years. I would love to, at the end of 5 years, be hosting 20 events a year. But right now, that's just not even a possibility with it just being, such a short crew. And,
Yeah.
we've got Jason's the builder and I'm everything else. But we do have a small build crew, and we do have, we've got a website crew, and we've got an ambassador crew, and, our pro team. And so we've got a ton of support, and those people are just amazing. But, it's a lot for a small crew to
Yeah.
host and produce.
I think it's great that you guys, even though you're wanting to expand, your whole concept is to support small, keep it local, support those smaller towns. And that is absolutely amazing. And so many of these small towns have been so hugely affected by the pandemic and
Yes.
everything that has come after it is still going on. So supporting them and bringing people in is so awesome. And that's a great business model to have. I know that some of the other races have kind of gotten a little bit too big for their britches, I guess is the best way to put it. And I think a lot of that gets lost. A lot of that community that I think so many people love with obstacle course racing, I think that kind of gets lost in it. So to have a brand coming in saying, hey, yeah, this is our brand, but we're supporting these smaller races and keeping them alive, that's absolutely incredible. So you got Ohio now and you're in the Southeast. Are you kind of staying in that area right at the moment until you guys kind of have a little bit more of a support crew?
Yeah, right now we're in Mississippi, Alabama, Kentucky, Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio, and potentially Florida. I think that our next two areas we'll be looking at, potentially for 2023, are going to be the New England area, maybe an upstate New York type area, and out west.
Well, heading up towards New York, just saying, I'm going to be in New Jersey after June. So,
I heard.
so if you need some help,
I love it. We have such a huge support and following up in that area. I don't know how, but I guess it's more some of the more connections that I've made in other aspects of the OCR industry, but we have a great following up in that area. So I'd really like to get up there. Obviously we've got 2 trucks and 2 trailers, and we load it up and we take off. So it's not something that, we have an 18-wheeler that we have a company that comes and picks it up. So, and neither Jason nor myself enjoy driving on road trips. So it's always, who's flipping the coin, and then on longer road trips, we all end up driving. Kate is one of our people that drives a truck and can pull a trailer. You got to be careful with who can drive a truck, pull a trailer, but she's great at it. So, it always ends up he's driving one, she's driving one, and I'm in the car, and here we go. So, we're definitely looking at further and further away from us as we
yeah,
grow and acquire more equipment that makes travel a little easier. And we started this brand with a car hauler and a 6x8 trailer, and we've progressed into a 14-foot trailer and a 20-foot trailer. We're growing.
going. Yep.
Yeah, had to buy a truck, and and we're trying to do, the company has no debt, and we don't ever want to be a company in debt.
Yeah,
So we want to acquire those things as we can.
that totally makes a lot of sense. And that's completely smart business move to keep yourself out of debt, but still want to grow. With the Phoenix race, and having that triathlon, like sprint triathlon and the race the next day. That's actually really kind of awesome and sounds really fun to do. I've done a couple of back-to-back races on a weekend, and you're kind of going out on the same course. You're just going at a different length. So that's really I like that idea. I like that, you get to swim, run, bike, and then you get to go run and play again. Like that
right.
is awesome. How long is the sprint triathlons?
So it is a 600-meter swim, a 17-mile bike, and a 5K run.
My rear end hurts just hearing this 17-mile bike.
17-mile bike. Yeah.
And with that race, do you guys, like, for people who like travel, do you guys have a place where they can rent a bike if they're not able to bring their own? And
there is a bike shop there's a bike shop in town that is amazing. And then we've got a big Mike Couch. He's done more Ironmans than anybody I know, and he has a host of bicycles, and I think he had 10 or 12 loaners out last time. So both the bike shop, Heart and Soul Cycle there in Meridian, and Mike have been very, very supportive to lend out or rent out bikes to athletes that are traveling. So it's that's been a really cool thing to see folks fly in and ride a bike.
That is awesome. And on average for like the Phoenix race, they're averaging like what, 5Ks or a little bit longer? Like,
so it's funny, Jason is our course designer and obstacle designer, build guy. He is everything that doesn't have to do with paperwork. That's Jason. All of the course. And his last name is Phy, Phy. So we have decided to market our races as 5Ks instead of 5Ks.
That's awesome.
Because yes, we aim for them to be a 5K, but they're never a 5K. I think in all of our racing, we might have had 2 that were like right at 3.1. So now if you're not going to come out there and get a 7-mile course expecting a 5K. If we're going to have a little bit longer of a course, we note it on the website, like Meridian is usually a little bit longer of a course because that's in the Mississippi race, because we've got 3,300 acres of just the most wonderful venue. It's gorgeous. So that one's a little bit longer. We're toying with in 2023, we're toying with 2 long courses. One would be I don't even know if I should even hint about this, but it would be a super epic collaboration between us and another race that is just they're just the race, the small race, period. Meaning, and when I say small race, meaning not Spartan, not Bone Frog, not Savage, not those brands. But we are so excited to work with him and the potential of working with him to create this very long course that will combine his obstacles and our obstacles with Jason's creative ability to utilize the terrain to just almost break you. So that's something we're looking at for 2023. It would not be in the Southeast. And then we're also looking at a course called the Rising. It's probably going to be a Mississippi race at the end of the season next year because that venue just lends itself so well to a long course. But it would be about a 15-miler.
Nice.
Yeah. And it would be kind of a really special gig for us. And maybe even 2023, we're toying with a point series championship event where if you have X amount of points, you qualify to race the championship. And that would probably be the championship event.
That's awesome. When somebody, if they want to buy like a season pass for Phoenix Race, does that entail like all of the races under the different names, or
It does.
that does? Awesome.
Our season pass includes all 7 of the OCR races. We actually have an additional OCR race that we are building, but it's the Muddy Duck Dash, and it is we do that because it's a brain tumor foundation fundraiser. My mom's a brain tumor survivor, so but we don't have anything to do with the registration or the directing. We just build it. So outside of the Muddy Duck Dash, it includes all 7 of the OCR events on our website, and it is $349, I believe, for all 7 events. And so not only do you save, have a pretty decent savings on the price of the race, but it also saves you each of those individual registration, the little pesky little fees at the end, the tax and whatever the processing fees are. I think that averages out to be like $6 a race or something. So you don't have that. And that's another thing that is just like, when I started racing, my first full year in racing, I was fully employed and financially good, and we could afford to race. My second year of racing, I didn't have a job. And it was extremely difficult for me to afford to go to races. And, that's one of the things that I want to be known as the race brand, where, our races start out at $39 and then they progress to $79 at the most expensive on race week for open heats. I feel like, and you're not going to have to pay additional insurance. You're not paying additional bag check. You're not paying additional parking. You're not paying all those little nickel and dime fees that everybody else, administrative fees. That's another one. That one drives me insane. I will absolutely not register for a race when it says there's administrative fees. No, that's just an extra way for them to make money. So, I want to be affordable for every household to be a race.
Yeah, that's what I did notice about your prices. They are where racing prices used to be 5 years ago or more. And that's another thing I noticed. Besides that, it's also everything right now is so expensive. From racing to concerts. I just spent so much money on one concert ticket for my kid. I have never spent on myself alone for a concert. So it's one of those things where I feel like the people who, like, if you're not a professional athlete and you don't have those like sponsors and everything, for the everyday person, it is hard to pay, $100 plus for an entrance to a race. And so keeping it at the level that you have, that's absolutely amazing, because that in turn, that will motivate somebody to get off the couch a whole lot more than $100+ for a race. And I know, like, I'm a single mom, and the only way I was able to race for a few years was all the volunteering that I did. I had to volunteer to get that free race, and that is how I was able to continue racing, because that entrance fee was like non-existent. I think I paid $15 for insurance. Well, okay, I could pay $15. So that is awesome to go from like 35 and your highest on race week be $79. I mean,
right.
I haven't heard that in years. So that's awesome. So it basically goes up in increments, just kind of depending on like how far out you are and how early you register. Your season pass, even, like, that's amazing. What, $349 for 7 races? What? Yep. I think you'd pay about that for like 4 races altogether. It's with all the additional fees and stuff. And the fact that you're aware of all the extras that not everybody utilizes and not having to pay for that. That is awesome.
I added it up, and on average, it's going to save. It's going to be about a 50% savings,
That is
and that
insane.
349 is for open or competitive. So competitive heats go up to $89 on race week. So that that 10 bucks basically covers our prizes for the open or competitive
Oh,
heats. But yeah, it's about a 50% savings, and they can just message our Facebook page or our website in order to get those purchased. They're not available just for random purchase, because I'd
yeah.
never had anybody even ask me about it till
Yeah.
this week. And then people start reaching out about it, and I'm just like, oh, I didn't know this is the thing. Hey, that's awesome. We do have a 3 race pack right now that is on our website for $149. So still, you're averaging $50 a race.
Yeah, that's a huge saving still. Even if it's just 3 races, like that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Um, I'm just like, I'm so like excited for you and so happy for you. Just like I've seen how far this has come in just this last year. And after being at the race in Meridian last year, it's just like I just want to do like that meme where you got Jen Hill going, like it's so exciting to see and to
That's
have
how I feel.
to have somebody that like with BeastNet has kind of like partnered up with to help you guys and promote, and we love it. It's just like it's a joyous thing to see this all coming together for you guys. Um,
It, it has just been way bigger, quicker than we ever thought,
yeah,
and we've had such wonderful support from the
yeah. And how do you have any time like downtime at all? Just like listening to all the stuff that you got going on, like can you breathe?
No. So, I mean, downtime is, an idle mind is just not a good thing for me.
Yeah.
So, there are times when I will. Last night, for example, Jason and his dad and brother took off to the national championship game. They're big Georgia fans. So, I turned my phone off, and me and his mom watched the ball game together. And today's been a little difficult with my suffering from excessive celebrations, and lack of sleep. But downtime is not something I have a ton of. I will be honest with you, and
Yeah.
that's okay. I'm just, at some point I will be able to not work as often or as hard, but it doesn't feel like a job, because I love it. If
Yes.
I'm not if I'm not working on something for Phoenix, I do a lot with our gym, our house studios here, and I work on things for the gym a lot. I co-founded the OCR Strong Project with Russ Blatt at OCR Buddy. Very active in the Gray Betties group for OCR. Our Legend Born on a contract basis in their marketing department, and I manage their ambassador team. I help OCR Buddy manage his ambassador team. I do a ton of graphics. So like graphics and art are relaxing to me. So when I
Yeah.
get to do graphics and draw logos, and I do all kinds of different graphic work for different OCR companies, and I love that.
That's awesome.
I get to play and be creative, and here recently I've started painting cups, tumblers, like for friends and family, and that's relaxing. But yeah, I mean, no, so I don't have a lot of downtime.
What so what is the Gray Betties? Just out of curiosity.
Yes. So the Gray Betties is women in OCR over 40. Most of them are, some have some sort of influential aspect to the sport. And it's just a group of ladies that we have matching jerseys. It's cool as heck. And we have a group where we can bounce ideas off each other, talk about things going on in our life, or training tips or nutrition tips. And It's just like realistically, for me, it's like a support system of 50 women that are at the same life stage that I am.
That is absolutely
Heather
amazing.
Heather Joe Cox created that group, and when I got invited to it, I was like, wait a minute, let's look at what. And I didn't even really know Heather, and she has progressed to be one of my closest friends. Like, it's just been amazing that that group brought us together to the point that now she runs on our pro team, and she's another woman that I look up to, and just she's out there being a badass and killing it. And but we both have our down times, and I can text her and she'll send me and pick me up and vice versa. So it's
That
a
is
camaraderie.
awesome. That is awesome. Uh, yeah, the name, like I was like, wait a minute, what's that? What's that? That is so incredible how that kind of support system in OCR, when you guys are all about the same level when it comes to the influence in the community and having people that you can feel like you can rely on to talk to and know what you're talking about and what you're going through as a racer, as a business owner, and everything. That is so incredible. um I'm just like, I am so just like I said, I'm so excited, and it makes me so happy to hear all of this. And I get having to stay busy because, like, an idle mind, idle hands doesn't always go over very well. So
Nope.
I'm just, yay. So do you guys have an ambassador program for Phoenix Race, or is it just like your pro team? Like, how?
We do have a great ambassador program. We just announced our ambassadors last week for this year. And, the program basically kind of takes our ambassadors and breaks them down into little mini squads. And so we'll have a squad that's kind of responsible for helping with social content. And then we'll have one that, is more on site kind of thing, helping out with, they know every race that what the volunteers need to be doing, and they'll make sure our volunteers are taken care of, because without volunteers you can't host an event, period.
Yes.
But they'll make sure that if it's hot, they've got water. If it's cool, they're making, they staying warm. They have different little jobs that they get, they do, luckily for us, at each different event. And then they are just a representative of our brand. I
Yeah.
think we have 20 ambassadors and 6 pro team members.
That's
I would have
awesome.
to double check that. Aaliyah is our pro team captain, and she handles all the pro team things. And then we have who takes care of all of Chris is actually on our pro team, but he handles all the ambassadors. And Angie, which I know you guys just interviewed her,
Yeah.
Precious Angie, she is kind of the co-captain or assistant leader for the ambassadors. So they handle most all of it. And that's been hard for me to give up because I love that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're gonna help with that this year. So I'm very thankful for that.
That is awesome. And if I remember correctly, you have an adaptive athlete person who kind of helps facilitate that. Am I correct? And that's Joey, right?
Yes, Joey McGlamory is our adaptive athlete services director. Adaptive athletes are at the core of my heart. My son is an adaptive athlete. He is autistic. I've met some amazing people through this sport that showed me kind of at first it was kind of a shame on you with your 2 good legs and your 2 good arms. If you can't quit your bitching and get out there and climb that rope, because look at
Yeah.
what these people are doing. Of course, that's not what they were saying to me. That's how it made me feel.
Yes.
Quit my whining, get out there and do it, kind of thing. But my very first race, there was an adaptive athlete there, and I was just in awe. I mean, in awe at what they were able to overcome. My dad has one arm. So, having, and my dad is a black belt in karate. And, for me to grow up seeing that, my dad is an adaptive athlete, and then my son come into the sport and get to know some of these adaptive athletes. It's just, they're just my heart. And so what Joey does is once a adaptive athlete says, "Hey, I want to come," Joey will get them taken care of with their codes that they need. We don't charge adaptive athletes to come onto our course. That is just something we will never do, because most of those athletes are on a specific income or a fixed income.
Yeah.
And even if they're not, who cares? They're adaptive athletes, and I want them out there
Yeah.
any way I can get them. So, then Joey will make sure that we as a race brand have everything we need for those athletes, and go over the course with their team and what they may need.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that was a position we needed until we had a race. And we always have a handicap porta potty brought out, of course. And the porta potty guy gets there and he's like, "Where do you want these?" And I had, I'm a planner. I've got a map on top of a map on top of a map that says exactly where everything goes. So I give him the map, and he goes and puts the porta potties where they go. Everything was fine until I realized, by one of our adaptive athletes' husbands who was in a wheelchair, that you had to go over a curb to get to the handicap accessible bathroom.
Oh.
That made me feel like a failure right there from the get-go. So I was like, you know what? That's things that Joey will think of, because that's the way his mind works, and
Yeah.
processes the information. So he came on board to help us out with that. He's doing a phenomenal job at every race where our adaptive attendance is growing, and that absolutely makes my heart just bust wide open. I love it.
That's so, I have not seen, at least in my aspect of going to races, I haven't seen or heard of them having somebody who actually has someone focusing on adaptive athletes and their needs and what needs to be done to help them have the best race possible. And knowing that you have that and are so supportive of them, and my gosh, you don't even charge them for the races. That's absolutely phenomenal. Because like you said, fixed incomes, you never know what their story is or what's going on. And they, I've been with Erica, and I freaking love her. You get a whole different point of view as to what somebody goes through to push themselves to get through a race. Like, it's humbling. It's utterly humbling to see somebody who they have to adapt to every part of their life, and to be able to adapt to race and beat themselves up physically like you do for obstacle course racing. I've had the same thing as you. It's like, oh, I need to just keep my mouth shut, suck it up, buttercup, and just do it. And
Yeah.
it's amazing. And I'm so glad that you are the front runner and putting a little bit of a light on them to say, "Hey, we got you." It's awesome. And Joey's freaking amazing too. He's, like you said, his mind is so focused on it, and he knows like what needs to go where and how things need to go to make everything awesome. And it just adds to the amazing brand that you are building as you are looking at every aspect of racing and everybody who's involved, from your pro athlete to people just getting off the couch to the adaptives. And I think it's been a long time since I've seen that, and to see a race brand coming out and saying, "Hey, we're going to support local, and we got your back no matter where you are in life." And it's incredible. You're doing such an awesome job, Julie.
Oh, thanks. We just, we want to be super inclusive. That I've got some things that I want to change about OCR and the sport of OCR. It's going to be hard for me as one person to do it, But I would love to see more adaptive athletes get involved. I would love to see more athletes from minority groups get involved. There's not a lot of minorities in OCR, and I'd like to change that up and see a different starting corral.
Yeah.
Just realistically get everybody involved, because as you get out there, I mean, it's definitely a diverse group, but it's not diverse among ethnicity. So I would like to see us diversify that a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I've got huge, big goals for the sport, and trying to come together with some of these other race directors and other companies in OCR, and work as a team to accomplish them. And, I don't know if we'll ever get where I want to go, but I'm going to give it hell trying.
You got to start somewhere. Like, you have to start somewhere to make a change. And, you don't go straight to the top. You got to start, small, start local, start Bridland,
Yeah.
and start changing. And once that ball gets rolling, it's amazing how much can actually change. And to have somebody in the sport who has that perspective of like, hey, some things need to change, and are willing to look outside of the financial picture of it all, is incredible, because it's not all about the sponsors and the money and the things that you make. It's about the people who make your sport, who make your brand, who promote it. And you have that outlook on it. It starts small. It starts with bringing more people in and more diversity. And it's incredible to see. And I'm thankful that there's somebody in the race world that sees like, hey, we need to make some changes and expand things. And that's awesome. And like you said, it may not go anywhere, but how much of a force you are to do everything you've done, not only in this last year, but all your plans, it's exciting to see that you want to take this and just make it bigger and better. So I think over time, we're going to see some great things coming from you.
Fingers crossed, right?
Yep, exactly.
It is definitely, to sit back and reflect on the last 5 years and think about how excited Jason and I got when he was selected as an ambassador for the local mud run. I mean, we were like just starstruck, it was like, oh my gosh, that's so huge. And then the next year I was selected to be a Spartan ambassador, and I thought I had arrived. The whole world was just, the heavens were singing and everything was wonderful. I mean, to go from those little moments to where we are now, it just is mind blowing to me. And I mean, we couldn't have done it without the support of the community, and much of those people that I spoke about, are the ones who propelled us there. The adaptive athletes, the athletes of diversity, and just there's so many wonderful people. I couldn't even imagine starting to try to thank people, because it would just be too much. But
we'll be doing like a little the Oscar, like do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, Julie, thank you so much for coming on and telling us more about Phoenix Race and everything that you guys got going on. I cannot wait to see where this year leads you. I kind of am taking a break this year from racing due to some huge changes going on, but 2023 is going to be that year that hopefully I'm able to get back into it. And I can't wait to be on the East Coast, so I'm closer to the races.
Exciting.
And so where can we find you guys on social media?
Phoenix Race OCR on Instagram and Facebook. I don't tweet, Twitter, whatever. I don't have enough sense to do that. I do have a personal Oh crap, TikTok. I have a TikTok. I think it's Jules OCR Addicts, ADDIX. And then of course our website is phoenixraceocr.com.
Oh, perfect. Well, now we know where to find you and all the good details. I highly recommend everybody get out and check out Phoenix Race and everything they got going on. Besides the fact their swag is awesome and the medals. Again, Julie, thank you so much. I am so looking forward to watching this year and seeing what happens. And of course, hopefully being able to talk to you and see you in person again soon.
Absolutely.
I hope you have a wonderful night. And thank you so much for being on.
Thank you. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
the opportunity.
Not a problem. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the BeastNet podcast. If you haven't done it yet, find us on Facebook, like and share the podcast. Give us a review on iTunes or Spotify. All these things will help to expand the show in the future. Don't forget to subscribe and let us know what you think and what you'd like to hear.